My name is Bharat again. Thank you, Barkha, for the opportunity. Dr. Tharoor, I just want to say that I don't think anybody in this audience is possibly going to dispute that we're very proud of you and what you've done for the country and also as part of the parliamentary delegations that went globally.
I think we can show him some more love. He's just got off a flight for us.
But if I may just ask, you know, obviously this was done because there was a sense that perhaps India fell short on the narrative battle. And you've done this, you've come back. I just wonder if you can tell us what we should expect from this, you know, in terms of an outcome, because it seems to me that the gentleman in the White House, it hasn't prevented him from having lunch with the man who's appointed himself a field marshal either. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit about what the outcome was.
I don't think you can judge any country's diplomatic effectiveness by other countries' attitudes to a third country. I mean, the truth is the US-Pakistan relationship has a dynamic of its own. And there are, I mean, I had conversations. I didn't meet Mr. Trump, but I met Vice President Vance and pretty much everyone who met her on down, both formally and informally. I will tell you that I was extremely pleased that we got all our messages across, that they were understood and repeated with understanding and support by everyone we met. And there were moments when our ambassador in Washington and I would look at each other and say, the other guy's got hold of our talking points according to what he's saying, you know? Yeah. So we really got our messages across. I can't tell you how very pleased we were with the effectiveness. In a place like Colombia, for example, the government, which is a reflexively leftist, peace-loving government, had issued a statement expressing heartfelt condemnation and condolences for the victims in Pakistan when we launched Operation Sindoor. And they had not said anything at all in defense of India. When I came and explained the position, both publicly and privately, I'm very pleased to say they withdrew that statement. And they subsequently issued remarks of support. So I think these delegation visits serve the purpose of getting our message across, either where they hadn't been heard properly or when there was a need to challenge their conventional thinking or their conventional wisdom on some issues. Not everywhere was it hard. In a country like Guyana, we were pushing out an open door. They already love us. 40% of Guyana is Indian, including the president. Different story there. And in some ways, it was the way we started. It gave us a chance, as it were, to sort of feel the love and feel the confidence thereafter to go on. But then we hit Panama, Colombia, Brazil, and finally the United States. And there was a different set of challenges and emphases in each of these places. And I must say it went well. Many, many places, because everywhere we were meeting not only government officials, we were also meeting our equivalents as parliamentarians, legislators, senators and congressmen, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, the House Foreign Relations Committee in the US, and the equivalents in all these other countries. Speakers of the House in many cases themselves met us, the presidents of the national assemblies. So we wanted a representative cross-section of opinion to know what our concerns were, why we had to do what we had done, and put across very firmly, this is not India versus Pakistan. The tendency of people to say, oh, India versus Pakistan, they've been fighting each other for decades, or as Mr. Trump famously said, for thousands of years. We wanted to get away from that narrative and make it very clear, this is not about India versus Pakistan, this is about India versus terrorism. And it's got nothing to do with anything else. And in fact, linked to that was the fact that our first strikes on the night of the 6th, 7th of May very specifically avoided any Pakistan government sites, even any Pakistan military sites. We only hit known terror bases, terror training camps and terror headquarters of organizations listed by the UN Terrorism Committee and on the designated terror list of the US State Department. So no one could accuse us of just randomly doing something. It was a very precise, calibrated action on the part of the government of India, which worked, I believe, in an exemplary way. And I've had very senior people, it would not be fair for me to reveal names, but very senior people in all these countries, including the US, saying, we understand and respect the restraint and responsibility that India showed in its actions. The other thing we had to convey, particularly when we got to Washington, and I wasn't going to say this earlier, but now the Prime Minister has made it public, so I can do so. was that we wanted to make it very clear to them that they shouldn't be talking about mediation because, number one, we didn't need anyone to persuade us to stop. From the beginning of the first strike, we had signaled to the world that we were merely actually taking an act of retribution against terror. We were not launching the first salvo in a protracted war with Pakistan. And we said, if Pakistan chooses not to retaliate, it's over, we're done. If Pakistan does retaliate, then we'll have to hit back. It's as simple as that. And every day the message was clear, even from the publicly recorded briefings that you could see. They were saying to Pakistan, through the world and through the media, if you hit, we hit back. If you stop, we'll stop. So no one needed to persuade us. The day the Pakistani DGMO called saying, let's call it off, our guy said yes. There wasn't even a debate on the matter. We didn't want to prolong it. Second most important issue is we really have bigger things to do. We are not a country that is focused on conflict. We are a country focused on development. We're a country focused on growth, on technology. We don't want to be distracted by these petty issues. And frankly, if they leave us alone, we're very happy to leave them alone. It's not for us at all that we have any ambitions, any territorial aggrandizement, whatever. And finally, the message to them was also, listen, when you talk about mediation, you're implying equivalence. There is no equivalence between terrorists and civilian victims. And there is no equivalence between a country from which these terrorists come and where they have safe haven and where they're financed and armed and equipped and trained and dispatched, and a country that is merely exercising its right of self-defense. So if there is no equivalence, there's no mediation.